There's not too many naked pool tournaments, so what we all have to do is put on a shirt and go out and play in a tournament. But did you know that when Efren Reyes puts on a shirt and goes out and plays bad, he will never ever wear that shirt again? And did you know there's times when Jason Shaw can't beat the local barbanger? And there's times when Shane Van Boening cannot buy a single ball. Every single pool player, no matter how great and famous, is very, very capable of playing really, really bad. One of the big differences and one of the reasons they are so good and pros is because they know how to point their finger at the guy in the mirror and blame themselves and figure out what's wrong and fix it. They know that everything has to be working just right in order to play great. So if your balance is off, that's going to throw your stance off, that's going to throw your stroke off, that's going to destroy your confidence. And what we tend to do wrong, even when we are pointing the finger at the right person in the mirror, we tend to adjust things to fix a broken chain. So we notice our strokes off, so then we start compensating by twisting our wrist a little bit, and that straightens the stroke out. When what we didn't do is fix our balance, so our stance is still off and our stroke is still off. We're just overcompensating and fixing the wrong problem. Go out to a pro tournament and get there early and watch the first rounds really closely, and you'll see that that guy who won that big tournament last year on YouTube, it just does not look like the same person. And you'll see examples of the most famous pool players in the world miscuing, missing straight-in shots, and just doing all kinds of crazy shit because things just aren't working on that particular day. We only get this if you never go out to a pro tournament and hang around these guys for a few days. All you're seeing is the finals or semifinals of the match, when they brought it all together and everything was going great and they were playing like champions. Trust me, again, they're very, very capable of playing like shit. I'm one of the few YouTubers willing to show myself playing badly because I'm not here trying to pretend that he's God so I can sell you something that you don't really need. Yeah, it was a good stroke on that, but I didn't quite get the right angle on the 3. Now I have to overcut the 3 and use both rails to get back on the 4, and I don't quite get there. But I should have shot that just a little bit harder because the 4 ball's on the same, or the 5 ball's on the same side of the table, so it's not hard to get to if you get kind of like close to straight in. But still, none of this should. Here's where the problem comes. I just rolled. That was at a skid shot, and then I just rolled up, probably for the wrong angle. I should have got on top of the 6 and come down and use that short rail a little more. And you've seen me get in this position before, and I can bank out of it most times. The problem with this shot is always that, you know, the cue ball's going back up table, which is fine if the 8 ball's also back up table, but it's not. So it's, you know, you're just cutting the cue ball loose, and now you're at the mercy of your shot making. And, you know, I'm no stranger to this position. I spent most of my life in it. But, you know, it's not always going to work out for you. So I tried to cut this into the left-hand corner pocket. Came up way short, just undercut it bad. And here we have another game. Again, I think it starts out okay and then just ends up wrong. That I could have gotten a lot closer to that 2 ball from that 1 ball position. Those long straight-in shots like that, they call for a clean, good stroke. So you just have to stay down and make sure your shoulder is locked when you shoot. And it's just a slow roll because I don't want that 3-ball getting away from me. And we're about back in line now, so there's really no reason not to run this rack out. The balls are spaced out nice. Should be just a routine run out here. Going around the 7 and bounce back, and it's perfect shape on 5-ball. Something goes awry here. I can tell I'm a little bit off balance. This is one of those days where I was drinking too much coffee. You see that stance right there? Did you see how much I moved? I'm going to play that back. But, you know, I still made the ball, and this is just not quite as top shot. I think I'm pulling back just a hair, just a couple inches. And this, you know, this is just routine. I should make this every time. And there's no reason to put bottom on this ball, but I do. See that right there? And that drastically cut the angle off, and it went into that left-hand side rail well before the pocket, and it wound up rattling. And here we have another game. It starts out fine and just kind of goes awry. Now note that 6-ball down there on the left-hand side rail. That's blocking that corner pocket out. So I can't just roll up on this 4-ball and shoot the 4 down there in the corner pocket because the 6 is blocking. So I have to pull it back, and I do a good job of that. And here I should have rolled out. I should have rolled down to the short rail and bounced off it, because now I'm too straight in on the 5, and I need that short rail down there to bounce back up onto that 6. And you can afford to get straight in or close to straight in on that 6. But because of that, you know, straight in shot, I couldn't get there, and I wound up bouncing in to the 9, which caused bad position on the 7. Now I'm going 3 rails on the 8, and which, you know, it's no big deal. It's just routine stuff, but I come up short. And I'm not going to blame the table. I just came up short. Just didn't roll it enough. But this still, once again, this is just a routine shot. But I can see myself off balance right there. It's not a good stance right there. I am not solid in that stance, and my body's moving a little bit. And because it moved right at the last split second, I wound up dogging that 8-ball. Here we have an 8-ball blooper. If I remember correctly, everything goes fine until the 8-ball. It made a bad decision shooting the P-ball before the 8-ball. You see how that side pocket over on the far side there has that 12-ball sitting and blocking half the pocket? Well, keep that in the back of your mind. Here's another half pocket shot here. We got the 6-ball block in this corner pocket closest to us, or this side pocket. And I see room for that 3-ball to get through there. That's an eagle eye getting by that 6-ball. Pulled that back a little too much. But we're all good here. I'm shooting the 2-ball first, I believe. Yeah, I'm shooting the 2-ball first and pulling back on the 6 to shoot the 4. And that was real dangerous because that's a tiny ass window right in there. So here I should have pulled this back. I should have drew it back and gotten the right shot on the 8. But I'm like, I don't need a whole pocket. I can shoot at this 8-ball half pocket. Just tried to cheat the pocket. Just a hair too much. And see, the problem here is I'm on the rails, so I can't really shoot I mean, I can only put top on this ball. And I can't use a whole lot of precision, and it just kind of pulled it. And I dogged it. Here's another game that I want to show you how you can lose a game and not even know you lost it. You can foul without ever knowing that you fouled. Now keep your eye on this 8-ball right here. Don't even watch the shot. Just keep your eye on the 8-ball. Did you see the foul right there? Well, I never knew I fouled right there until I went home and I watched this tape. So your opponent's going to call that on you, and he has a pretty easy out, and he's going to beat you. His only problem is getting right on the 8-ball. In the old days, they used to say, oh, you know, if it wasn't an object ball foul, your opponent would have the option of leaving the 8-ball where you put it accidentally or putting it back to where it was. And you know, the person who fouled gets to keep shooting. They were bad rules they created. Really, really, really bad arguments. So now, almost all tournaments are all ball fouls. If you touch any other ball, it's a foul. This next one is probably my most favorite blooper of all time. It gave me a laugh. It still gives me a laugh every time I watch it. And I want to share it with you. Unlike all these other YouTube videographers, whatever you want to call them, none of them guys will ever show you themselves doing something like this. I'd be very surprised if they did. They have to pretend they're perfect, and none of us are perfect. And we all screw up. So I'm just going to let this speak for itself and roll this out.
I'm going to block this, or I have to shoot the 1, the 10 to go to try to bank the 12. That's going to leave you wide open.
That was sweet. Did you see that? Good. I don't know we ever see it.
That's one you ought to keep for his bloopers.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, it sounded like it was pretty good. Were you going with that one?